Jackie, good to see you again.
Thanks, Kevin.
We are here in Houston, Texas for the APTA conference, and we're here as your representative of Comto and of the CLI program. Please introduce yourself.
I'm Jacqueline Burrell, and I run the City Intern program as well as the TCRP Ambassador program for Comto.
Okay. How long have you been working with them?
Several years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've worked with my father, Colonel Page, for several years also.
Yes,
I know that
yes.
you've kind of been his right-hand woman for quite a while.
Yes.
I know that one of your focuses is the CLI, this City Internship program. Where do you think that's going? Or actually, let's take a step back. How's that gone for you in 2014?
It's incredible the growth that we have seen with the City Intern program. We've gone from just a few interns to over 400 applications last year alone for just 31 slots.
Wow.
So it's tough, but the selection, once we make the selection, the interns are fabulous, but they well represent Comto. And more importantly, the stakeholders are very impressed with the quality of our interns, and in fact have hired a couple of them. So it's the ultimate in terms of what the program is all about, introducing new talent into the transportation industry. Because I don't think you know, Kevin, but in 10 years' time, nearly half of the transportation workforce is nearing the retirement age. And that's a serious brain drain that the industry can't afford. So we need to bring in as many new young faces as we can.
Okay. You mentioned 31 slots. What determines the number 31?
Well, what determines that is where we have the jobs for them, because we are looking for them to do get hands-on experience. So we reach out to our stakeholder community, and we try to, that includes transit systems as well as private corporations, and to see where we can make the best fit, who has internship available. And each year it's growing and growing.
Okay, so we had bigger, stronger stakeholders, more stakeholders. Would that number be able to be increased?
Absolutely.
Is
Absolutely.
that where we'd like to go?
That's where we're headed. Okay. That is exactly where we're headed.
So heading in that direction, what would help us get to that point? How can we get to 40, let's say?
More funding, more stakeholders, and certainly with the Leadership Institute is going to be a big element of that as well. But the main thing is funding and stakeholders. Okay. Yeah.
You mentioned that a lot of or not a lot, but some of the students and the interns have been hired on afterwards. What are some of the other benefits that the students themselves will get out of it?
One of the main things that we try to deal with is the nuances of the workplace. Leadership skills, helping them to develop leadership skills. They already have the skill sets because we're working with college juniors and seniors. So they're already into their field, whether it's accounting or engineering or communications or whatever their major may be. They already have the basics for the skill sets. So the internship program provides them the hands-on experience so that they can kind of test the reality of what they're learning in school. But what we also try to emphasize is there are a lot of things when you go into the workplace that are above and beyond your skill sets, if you will. It's the soft skills. It's being able to communicate. It's being able to listen and learn and to find out exactly who does what and what goes where. And listening skills is really, I think it trumps almost everything in terms of what's important.
Okay. I like that. One last thing before I let you go. I know that you've worked so closely with so many different interns over the years. Could you give me one anecdote of a really good, positive success story about a particular intern?
Oh, there's so many. We have a young man who actually interviewed in Philly, but lived in Maryland. And we had an intern who was actually selected in Maryland, and that kind of fell through. And I remember that this young man in Philly, who actually he was very close, but he didn't quite make the cut, was from Maryland. So he got the internship, and he's working in construction today.
Okay.
And one other is a young man who also just happens to be in Philly, but because of the internship, he has second language skills, Japanese.
Oh, wow.
And because of the confidence that he gained from the internship, he was able to do several Skype interviews, and then he went in an in-person interview with a Japanese firm in Atlanta and was working at the Japanese firm. They hired him. So it's very cool.
That's very nice. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. And thank you for coming to Comto and APTA here in Houston, Texas.
Happy to be here.